Stop scrolling. Imagine your fiancé looks you in the eyes and says, "Do not come tonight. He does not like you near me." You tell yourself it is nothing, but your gut twists. Hours later, you walk into a dim townhouse, candles flickering, strangers laughing. She is there, knees tucked beside her boss, lipstick smudged, talking about you like you are a joke. You could scream, you could break. But instead, you turn on every light in the room, open his laptop, and show the world exactly who they are. Stay. Watch what a man does when silence becomes his weapon. Adam Reynolds sat cross-legged on the living room floor, a screwdriver between his fingers, the half-assembled bookshelf leaning unevenly against the wall like a wounded soldier waiting for orders. The unit was cheap laminated wood from a Home Depot clearance aisle, but he liked the idea of building it himself. Something about structure, precision, aligning pieces until they clicked. Code made sense like that. Furniture, too. People, not so much. Outside, the city was a low hum of late evening traffic. Inside, only the refrigerator filled the silence with its steady compressor drone. A sitcom rerun flickered on the TV across the room, volume low enough to be forgotten, laugh track ghosting through the air like a memory of joy instead of the thing itself. Adam checked the time again. Claire was supposed to have been home an hour ago. She said the after-work creative meetup at Julian's place was casual. Wine, mood boards, brainstorming for a new environmental campaign. She promised it would not run late. She promised she wanted to come back early, maybe watch a movie, maybe just lie in bed and talk the way they used to. Adam believed her. He always believed her. His phone buzzed once. A notification lit up the corner of the room like a flare. A picture came through. Claire's manicured hand holding a wine glass, stem thin and elegant against her skin. Candlelight blurred in the background. Soft amber glow over silhouettes of people laughing, arms brushing, heads tilted close in conversation. He could almost smell the perfume, the red wine, the curated artistic vibe she lived for, the world he only ever visited like a foreign country. Then her message appeared beneath the photo. "Do not come tonight. He does not like you near me. It throws off the dynamic." Adam stared. The sentence did not hit all at once. It unfurled inside him slowly, like a fuse burning quietly under the surface. He read it again and again, words sharp, clinical. "He does not like you near me." He? Julian, of course. The creative director with the tailored blazers and silver hair that looked intentionally messy. The man who complimented Claire like every sentence was an investment into her future. Adam swallowed. His jaw tightened. The screwdriver dug into his palm, metal biting skin. The refrigerator hummed louder. Or maybe the room had just gone too quiet. Another buzz. "It is just work politics, babe. Nothing personal. I will make it up to you." Softer words this time. Cushioning, as if he were fragile glass needing careful handling. He could almost hear her voice through text. Honey-sweet apology layered over something colder beneath. Not tonight. Not here. Not with him. He set the screwdriver down. The bookshelf leaned to one side, unfinished, like their life together paused mid-assembly. Adam rubbed his forehead with the heel of his hand. He breathed through his nose, slow, measured, like steadying his aim before pulling a trigger. The military podcasts he listened to called it combat breathing. 4 seconds in, hold, 4 out. A technique to stay calm under fire. Funny how it became useful now. His phone screen dimmed, then blackened. He tapped it awake again, staring at the words as if they might change if he looked long enough. "He does not like you near me." What kind of man does not like a fiancé near his own partner? And what kind of partner says it like an instruction instead of concern? part of Adam wanted to reply something rational, adult, understanding. I get it. Have fun. Be safe. Love you. He had written messages like that before. The supportive partner, the calm one, the one who never pushed too hard. But something in him, small, survival sharp, whispered that he was being gently written out of the frame. Like a line of code deprecated quietly in the background, while new features deployed without him noticing. He felt it like static behind the ribs. A warning. Adam stood up, walked to the kitchen, poured himself a glass of tap water. The cold stung his teeth when he drank. He looked at the small velvet ring box on the counter, the one he bought 3 months ago after a freelance payment finally cleared. He planned to give it to her properly, tonight or next weekend. Maybe after they cooked dinner together, talked about their future again, mapped dreams like blueprints. He opened the box with his thumb. The diamond was modest, clean, simple, chosen more for meaning than spectacle. Under the kitchen light it caught a glint, like hope. He closed the box, set it down gently. Then he took his car keys off the hook. The bookshelf stayed half-built behind him, screws scattered like shell casings on the floor. Adam did not slam the door. He just left, quiet, controlled, but with a decision moving through him like voltage. He was going. No invitation, no permission, just truth. There was a time when Adam and Claire felt like two halves of a blueprint laid over each other perfectly. It was 4 years ago, a rainy Thursday afternoon, the coffee shop on Pine Street crowded with students and remote workers. Adam sat near an outlet, headphones around his neck, debugging a stubborn authentication bug in a mobile app. Claire slid into the table next to him, sketchbook open, pencil dancing across paper as she drafted logo concepts with effortless confidence. Their eyes met when they both reached for the same power socket. She smiled first, warm, unguarded. He offered her the plug with a half-joking, "I swear I am not hacking the cafe Wi-Fi." She laughed, leaning in, asking what he was building. He told her about a clean UI concept for local business deliveries. She flipped her sketchbook around, showing logo ideas she was playing with for a hypothetical wellness brand. Their conversation was immediate, smooth, like two frequencies syncing. No performance, no testing each other, just curiosity. In those early months, they lived on cheap tacos from the food truck outside Claire's apartment. Thrift store furniture filled the living room. A couch that sagged, a coffee table with chipped paint, mismatched plates that somehow looked charming when they ate midnight pizza on them. They talked about building something of their own. A small creative studio, maybe an app that combined design plus tech. Adam would code, Claire would brand and market. They shared visions like soldiers share maps before deployment, promising each other that no matter what battlefield came, they would move forward as one unit. Late nights smelled of instant noodles and acrylic paint. Claire spread mood boards across the floor, while Adam stared at screens filled with lines of code, debugging until dawn. They believed burnout was just proof of commitment. It was raw, messy, intimate. They were happy. Then Claire landed a job at a boutique agency downtown. The kind with exposed brick walls, cold brew on tap, dog-friendly meetings. Julian Hart, creative director, noticed her talent fast. He used words like potential, trajectory, legacy, terms designed to feel like future. Claire thrived under praise. Adam was proud, truly proud. But growth has a way of bending gravity. Her wardrobe changed slowly, blazers with sharper silhouettes, designer heels on credit, jewelry that belonged more to gallery openings than thrift store nights. She said it was for the role. Adam agreed. Maybe it was. She started saying, "my team," instead of "our project." our brand vision, our campaign approach. Words that once included him now placed her somewhere he was not invited to stand. On Adam's side, freelancing turned into a long, unbroken season of uncertainty. One client funded a prototype, then disappeared like vapor. A promising startup integration crashed after deployment, wiping 6 weeks of work. Bills remained static while income became volatile, like playing financial Russian roulette. So Adam worked from home more. He cooked dinner, kept the apartment clean, waited up for Claire when she came home late, smelling like red wine and rooftop air. She called them concept sessions, after-hours drinks, client bonding. They always sounded just professional enough to make questioning feel insecure. Still, there were moments, fleeting ones, like the party at the agency where someone handed Adam a beer and joked too loudly, "Oh, you are the house husband coder?" Laughter erupted around him, sharp and effortless. Claire joined in, not a small laugh to blend in, but a bright one, almost relieved. She saw Adam's shoulders stiffen. She touched his arm later, saying, "We tease each other like this at work. Do not take it seriously." He nodded, because confrontation felt like pulling the pin on something fragile. When Adam proposed, it was simple. Just them in a park, under fading autumn light, sitting on a picnic blanket eating takeout pizza. He pulled out a ring, voice steady, hands slightly trembling. Claire's eyes filled. She said yes, kissed him hard, then immediately lifted her phone to see how the diamond sparkled for a photo. Adam chose not to mind, not then. Months passed, slow shifts like rust forming beneath paint. Plans for their joint studio were mentioned less. Claire talked about agency awards, influencers she met at rooftop launches. Adam listened, clapping quietly from the sidelines. Because love, he believed, meant patience. And so by the night she texted, "Do not come. He does not like you near me." Adam was not shocked, only tired in a way a man gets when he has been forgiving so long he wonders if forgiveness has become self-erasure. He still grabbed his keys, because something silent in him refused to fade out politely. The drive across town was quiet, except for the soft thrum of the engine and the occasional shuffle of windshield wipers, clearing mist from the glass. Streetlights flashed over Adam's face like a slow interrogation lamp, revealing the same expression each time, unreadable, restrained. He was not angry, not yet. Anger required clarity. What he felt now was something colder, like someone had poured ice water into his chest, and it was settling between the ribs. The further he drove, the more the city changed. Old brick warehouses, once freight hubs and machinery yards, now converted into condos with balconies strung in Edison bulbs, cafes with minimalist signage, yoga studios where people carried rolled mats like rifles on patrol. Young professionals walking dogs bred more for aesthetics than utility. It was the kind of neighborhood Claire called inspiring. Adam called it polished, expensive, a world where perception mattered more than truth. He parked 1 block away from Julian's townhouse to watch first. Clusters of people smoked near the entrance. Stylish, sharp silhouettes, laughter rising in curated bursts like sound design instead of real joy. Someone in a turtleneck waved a bottle of Malbec while 2 women debated ad campaign ethics like they were discussing war strategy. Adam's phone lit the car interior with a cold blue glow. Claire, please do not come. I do not want drama. Read at 9:41 p.m. He scrolled further up the thread. A message he was never supposed to see. One Claire forgot to delete from the preview banner weeks ago. Julian. She will be better once she stops worrying about the sad boyfriend at home. No emoji, no nuance, just a verdict, one that stung now more than it had then. Adam stared at the message a long moment, thumb hovering over the screen, feeling something inside him compress into a smaller, harder shape. Like encryption. Feelings sealed away behind passcodes only he knew. He put the phone face down on the passenger seat. He stepped out into the chill night and walked. Julian's townhouse rose ahead like a magazine spread. Matte black door, brass number plate, warm interior light spilling onto the polished steps. Voices inside blended with a low playlist. Electronic, mellow. Something the algorithm recommended to people who liked rooftop cocktails and TED Talks. Adam pushed the door open. Heat and wine-soaked air washed over him. The living room stretched wide beneath high ceilings, lit in soft amber from lamps angled like stage lighting. Campaign mood boards leaned against exposed brick. Framed awards glittered. Vintage film posters lined the staircase wall. It smelled like sandalwood, citrus, and tastefully expensive ambition. People clustered in small conversational units, wine glasses held like props, hands describing ideas midair. Energy, vision, brand identity floated through the space. Casual but calculated. Everyone attractive, well posed, like they practiced being observed. A few heads turned at Adam's entrance. Eyes scanned him the way people scan an email subject line. Quick judgment, no warmth. Someone whispered, not quite low enough. "Isn't that?" The sentence died when Adam's eyes met theirs. He moved deeper into the house, steps steady on hardwood. He did not search for Claire. He waited for the room to reveal her. It did. Across the living area, she stood near the kitchen island, wearing a silk top the color of champagne, hair curled like she was shooting an ad. Her expression changed in 3 quick frames: shock, irritation, then a smile stretched tight and rehearsed. Julian appeared behind her like a shadow with perfect posture. One hand rested lightly on her shoulder, not intimate, but possessive enough to signal terrain. His blazer was charcoal, fitted. His eyes assessed Adam the way a CEO assesses risk. Claire crossed the room with controlled steps, voice low enough to keep decorum intact. "Adam," she said through a smile that did not reach her eyes. "We talked about tonight." Her grip on the wine glass whitened her knuckles ever so slightly. Adam's voice came out even, like briefing a system report. "We did." Nothing more, no apology, no justification. Julian stepped forward, offering a handshake like a man confident he would not be refused. "So, you are the infamous coder boyfriend," he said, mouth curving with a cocktail of charm and condescension. Adam took the handshake, firm enough to say he was not fragile. "Adam Reynolds," he answered. "Not infamous, just here." Julian blinked once at the lack of deference. A micro glitch. The kind that reveals a system does not expect resistance. Claire looked between them, swallowing something. Frustration, worry, guilt. He could not tell. But Adam caught it like a signature in a packet header. Data captured, stored. He scanned the room, every detail logged like evidence. The way Claire leaned slightly toward Julian's side, not his. How people watched them with curiosity, waiting for entertainment. The music, the mood, the momentum of a world where he was only tolerated if silent. He stood in it calmly, observing, breathing, because knowledge is a weapon, and he was collecting ammunition. The room shifted when Julian clapped his hands together, drawing eyes like a conductor calling for silence. "All right," he announced, with that easy confidence leaders wear like tailored suits. "Let us do something different. A creativity game." People cheered lightly, not loud, but eager, like they were used to following his lead. Julian raised his glass. "Let us kill the lights, just candles and conversation. No phones, no filters, only honesty." Someone near the kitchen laughed, maybe already a little drunk. Another voice chimed in, "Yes, strip the artifice." It sounded rehearsed, like they had played this scene before. A man near the breaker panel pulled it down. Darkness swallowed the house. Not total, just enough. Candles flickered to life on counters and coffee tables, warm pools of gold fighting the shadows. The blue glow of the city filtered through high windows like moonlight over water. Music softened to a low throb beneath it all, now heartbeat instead of soundtrack. In this low light, boundaries loosened. Shoulders brushed. Voices dropped into conspiratorial tones. Laughter became intimate rather than social. Someone whispered too close to someone else's ear. A hand lingered longer than polite. The room felt like the moment before a secret is spoken. Electricity without thunder. Wine poured again. Glugging. A bottle uncorked with a soft pop like a suppressed round. Adam watched Claire tilt her head back when Julian refilled her glass, her throat catching candlelight, the silk strap of her top sliding just slightly. She smiled at something he said. Open, bright, different. Not the smile she used with Adam when she came home tired, requesting comfort. This one was sharp. Hungry. He felt his pulse steady, not quicken. He knew the sensation from cybersecurity incident response. The stillness right before containing a breach. Cold clarity. He moved through the room, nodding when someone offered him wine. He declined softly, needing his head sharp, unclouded. The house felt humid with expectation. A woman beside him whispered, "Julian loves these games. Says people reveal truth in the dark." Her breath smelled like Pinot Noir and peppermint gum. Adam offered her a polite half-smile, but his feet were already moving toward the hallway, deeper into the house, away from laughter that felt rehearsed like copy on a pitch deck. He needed air, space, a moment to process the undertow pulling at him from below the surface. The hallway was cooler, quieter, lined with framed photographs of ad campaigns, smiling models, billboards, neon cityscapes. Success frozen in glossy rectangles. Then he heard it, a voice, Claire's, softer than her public tone, with an edge of nervous playfulness he had not heard since early days. It drifted from deeper down the corridor, half muted by distance but unmistakably hers. Adam's steps slowed. He followed the sound. Julian's office door was open just a crack. Inside, the ultra-wide monitor cast a screensaver glow across the room, shifting gradients like an aurora. Minimalist desk, leather-bound notebooks, a couch pushed against the wall. Work and intimacy designed to coexist. He was about to walk past when her laugh reached him. Not her normal laugh, but something else. Higher, younger, almost girlish. He froze. He leaned slightly into the doorway shadow, unseen. The room smelled like whiskey and bergamot. Their silhouettes sat on the couch. Claire's legs tucked toward Julian, his body angled comfortably close. Too close. He listened. Claire, he gets so anxious, honestly. Always needs reassurance. It is exhausting sometimes. Quiet laughter, not cruel but careless. Casual. The kind that hurts more because it was not meant to. Julian, you have outgrown him, you know that, right? There was no hesitation, no protest. Claire laughed, a soft, fragile betrayal, and did not deny it. Something in Adam cracked. No sound, just a tear in an inner layer, like brittle code failing under pressure. Julian's hand brushed her hair back from her face, slow, intimate. Claire let it. No flinch, no guilt. Adam's breath was silent, measured, but a calmness washed through him, colder than shock, cleaner than rage. A man realizing war has already started, and he will not fight with trembling hands. He stepped forward a fraction, letting the glow catch his profile. Just enough to count as presence, not enough to interrupt. This was the moment. The instant Adam stopped being the man asking for space in her world and became the man walking into the fire with open eyes, he knew then he would not leave quietly, not tonight. Adam stepped forward without hesitation, as if crossing an invisible line. His hand found the switch by instinct, a small click in the silence. Light exploded across the office. White, sharp, merciless. The darkness evaporated. No more candle-glow softness. No ambiguity to hide inside. Claire jerked away as though a flame had touched her skin, scrambling upright. Julian blinked hard, squinting like the brightness was an inconvenience rather than a consequence. His hand remained where it had been, on Claire's thigh, frozen mid-claim. Her lipstick was just imperfect enough to tell the truth. A smear, a tiny red curve near the corner of her mouth. Not proof, but suggestion. And suggestions in light become undeniable. No one spoke. From the hallway, laughter from the party drifted like background static, distant, surreal. A reminder that the world outside this room still believed in whatever fantasy existed before the lights came on. Adam did not raise his voice. He did not demand explanations. Rage would have been too crude. Instead, he let silence settle heavy, like snow covering a battlefield before movement begins. Julian leaned back casually, removing his hand with deliberate ease, as though he chose to end contact rather than being caught in it. He adjusted his blazer, posture straightening. "Adam," he said, tone almost bored. "There is no need for theatrics." But Adam was no longer looking at him. He walked past them, smooth, measured, to Julian's desk. His fingers moved with the same precision he used when deploying code to a production server. He clicked the trackpad. The laptop woke instantly. No lock screen, just a desktop wallpaper of a minimalist mountain landscape. Serene, pretending to belong to someone who earned peace honestly. Adam opened the message app. Conversations loaded in clean white bubbles. His heart did not accelerate. It slowed. Focus sharpened like a sniper aligning crosshairs. Chat logs, weeks of them. Julian. She will be better when she stops worrying about the dead weight at home. Claire. I know, he means well. He is just small. Another thread, screenshots of flight confirmations. A hotel reservation for 2, San Francisco conference, April. Just us two. A saved note titled Exit Strategy. After campaign launch, her handwriting. Her words. I will break things off cleanly. He will be fine. He needs time to accept we want different lives. Claire stepped forward, voice tiny. Adam, please, do not. He did not look at her. His voice was calm, almost gentle. Hey everyone, he said, loud enough to cut through music and chatter outside the office. Could you come here a second? The party noise dimmed instantly. Footsteps approached. Faces gathered in the doorway. Coworkers holding half-filled glasses, eyes wide, phones half-raised like instinct. Julian's jaw tightened. Claire's breath hitched. Adam selected the AirPlay icon. The TV across the room lit up, bigger, brighter, exposing every word Claire and Julian had typed, every private joke at his expense, every future plan that did not include him. Messages filled the screen like confessions. A gasp from someone in the crowd. Another whispered, "Oh my God!" A woman looked away, uncomfortable, like witnessing an accident she could not stop watching. Julian stepped forward, voice slipping into his leadership tone, confident, dismissive. Everyone, let us not misinterpret casual chats. This is creative banter, brainstorming. We joke. It is healthy. Adam clicked again. Screenshots appeared, Claire telling Julian she might move into his spare room for work convenience. Another where she wrote, Adam is safe, too safe. He will not leave unless I make him. The room temperature dropped. Claire's voice cracked. It was not like that. But the truth was already displayed in 1080p resolution, backlit by reality. Adam turned toward her for the first time. His eyes were not angry. They were clear, painfully, quietly clear. The kind of clarity that signals an ending already written. You did not want me near you tonight, he said softly. Now everyone can see why. Claire covered her mouth with shaking fingers. Julian swallowed, confidence thinning like cheap paint under rain. Guests looked at them differently now, like an image in perfect lighting after filters are removed. Faces changed from admiration to discomfort, to judgment, to pity. Adam let the silence burn. Then he took one step toward the door. He was not done, but the retaliation had begun, not with violence, but with illumination. Truth was louder than shouting, and he had just turned on every light. Silence never felt so loud. For a heartbeat or two, no one moved, like the room itself was buffering, processing an unexpected breach. Then the reactions broke through in ripples. A junior copywriter near the doorway pressed both hands to her mouth, eyes wide behind round glasses. A senior account manager exhaled sharply, the words slipping out like a verdict. Jesus, Julian. Someone else looked away, suddenly fascinated by the floorboards. Julian straightened his blazer, fighting for the room the way a politician fights for a narrative. Everyone, he said with forced composure, this is clearly being taken out of context. It is banter. We are creatives. We exaggerate. We joke. It is how ideas spark. Weak laughter flickered from one corner, dying almost immediately. Nobody felt like laughing anymore. Adam scrolled slowly, deliberately, as if pacing each cut. Dead weight, he read aloud, voice steady as a metronome. He means well, he is just small. We will go to San Francisco, just us two. Break things off cleanly after the campaign. He did not scream the words. He did not need to. Calm is more frightening than fury. Claire staggered toward him, tears streaking down her cheeks, mascara bleeding like watercolor. Adam, please, stop. You are ambushing me, you are twisting this, you are making it worse than it is. He turned one page further and found the message that killed the last piece of hope in him. He read it without looking at her. He is so safe. He will never leave unless I make him. Claire folded in on herself, shoulders shaking, breath hitching like a child caught lying. Her sob escaped broken, raw. Adam, I did not mean, I was venting, But excuses sound like static when truth is already amplified. Adam closed the laptop gently. His voice was surgical cold. No, he said. You were preparing to live without me. I am just turning the lights on. He faced the room, not Claire, not Julian, the room. The witnesses, the audience. All those people who toasted authenticity in branding and truth in storytelling. You all talk about honesty in campaigns, he said softly, about real messaging, vulnerability, integrity. A breath. Here is your authentic story. No one argued. One by one, guests began slipping away, like workers abandoning a collapsing rig. A woman put her wine glass down quietly, whispering, I am sorry, to Adam as she passed. A man avoided his eyes completely, shame making him smaller. The myth of Julian Hart, untouchable creative genius, cracked under fluorescent truth. Claire reached toward Adam, as though touch could rewind time. He stepped back. Her hand hovered in the air, empty. Adam removed the ring box from his pocket with slow precision, like disarming a bomb. He opened it one last time. The diamond caught the office light again, that cold, clinical light that reveals everything. He did not place it in Claire's palm. He set it on Julian's keyboard, a symbolic return of value to the man who convinced her she could do better. Claire choked out a broken whisper. "Adam, please." He met her eyes for the first time since turning on the light. There was no hatred there, just finality. A door closing gently instead of slamming. "You did not want me near you tonight," he said. "Congratulations, I am done." No raised voice, no slammed drawer, just a sentence delivered like a clean sever. Adam turned and walked toward the hallway, past the frozen crowd. No one stopped him. No one dared. The music still played softly in the main room, but without laughter, without soft candlelight. It sounded like a heartbeat slowing to flatline. Behind him, he left a room full of witnesses, a toppled pedestal, and a woman who finally understood what losing something quiet feels like. He stepped out into the night, harsh white light behind him, cold air ahead, and did not look back. Only the truth stayed echoing. The fallout did not arrive like a hurricane. It came slow, drip by drip, like water leaking through a ceiling until one day the plaster gives way. In the first 48 hours, Adam's phone lit up 100 times. Claire's name, again and again. Texts like apologies written at gunpoint. It was one mistake, one night. "I was drunk. You know how stressful work has been. You blindsided me, that is why it looked bad. Can we talk, please? I love you." Voicemails with shaky breathing, long pauses, her voice cracking halfway through sentences. 3 emails in a row, paragraphs about therapy, about pressure, about losing herself. She blamed the wine. She blamed Julian's influence. She blamed stress, timing, her ambition. She blamed everything except the laughter Adam heard in the dark. Meanwhile, news inside the agency traveled faster than truth ever did in private. Julian's legend fractured. HR requested time to discuss concerns. He was placed on leave, phrasing corporate enough to hide panic under professionalism. Suddenly, people remembered comments, boundary pushes, late-night messages. Memory is selective, courage more so. Adam read the updates on his phone while sitting alone in his new sublet. A tiny one-bedroom with bare walls that echoed when he set his keys on the counter. No couch, no dining table, just a mattress on the floor, laptop on a milk crate, a single mug for coffee. It was minimal. Rough, but it was quiet. He woke every morning before sunrise and ran. Steady pace, breath controlled, like training for a deployment he was not sure he ever enlisted in. His muscles burned pleasantly, a reminder he was alive in his own skin again. He cooked for himself. Eggs, toast, grilled chicken, simple meals. No performative plating, no shared wine bottles. He reopened his abandoned side project, a budgeting app for freelancers with real-time tax projections. Lines of code flowed with an ease he had forgotten. Syntax like muscle memory. Focus returned like a soldier coming home from war. Then one afternoon, a message from a number he barely recognized. "Adam, it is Rachel, from the party. I have been thinking about that night." They met for coffee in a sunlit corner of a local cafe. She looked remorseful, turning her cup in slow circles. "I am sorry I laughed when they made that house husband coder joke," she whispered. "You did not deserve that. None of it." She leaned closer, voice low. "Everyone is talking, you know. HR is digging. People are scared to defend Julian now. Your night opened the door. Adam nodded, not triumphant, just understanding the chain reaction. When he stepped outside afterward, warm wind moved through the street. He exhaled, long, steady, like releasing something he had been carrying too long. But peace is rarely silent. Claire found him 3 days later outside the same coffee shop, as if she had been monitoring his location like a lost asset. She looked smaller, not physically but in presence. Hair unbrushed, circles under her eyes like she had not slept. Her voice was raw. "Adam, please." Her hands trembled. "We can fix this. I will quit the agency. I will go to therapy. I will do whatever it takes. Do not let this be the end of us." He studied her quietly. She was familiar and foreign at once, like logging into an old system only to find every UI element updated beyond recognition. In his head, he heard the soft laugh she gave Julian. Not guilty, comfortable, rehearsed. He remembered her saying he was safe because he would not leave. His voice, when he finally spoke, was gentle but colder than anything he used in anger. "You did not just cheat on me," he said. "You rehearsed living without me, over and over." Her breath hitched. Tears welled again. He continued, not cruel, just honest. "I just made sure you had an audience for the performance." Claire reached out, fingertips trembling inches from his arm. He stepped back. She broke, a quiet sound, barely audible, like something delicate cracking under its own weight. Adam turned and walked away. No dramatic exit, no slammed doors, no cinematic rain. Just the soft closing of a chapter. The sound of a man finally choosing himself over being tolerated. He never looked back. Months passed quietly, like the slow thaw after a long winter. Adam did not sprint into a new life. He walked, steady, conscious, one decision at a time. The sublet turned from mattress-on-the-floor survival to somewhere that felt like home. A cheap bookshelf he actually finished this time. A thrifted couch that did not sag. Plants Claire would have forgotten to water now thrived under his attention. He worked in a co-working space downtown, surrounded by the soft chorus of keyboards, startup optimism, and coffee grinders. His budgeting app, the project that once felt like a failure, was now a shared screen in meetings with 2 other freelancers who joined him after seeing the prototype. They were not a company yet. No seed funding, no press coverage. But they were a team, small, disciplined, collaborative. A unit moving under the same mission like soldiers in formation, confident even without armor. When the beta launched, they cracked open cheap beer and shared takeout noodles from the restaurant downstairs. Not glamorous, real. Users trickled in. Feedback arrived. Some bugs, some praise, some potential. Adam's world felt grounded again. His name was no longer something to defend. It was attached to work he believed in. He heard about Claire and Julian through the grapevine, not from seeking news, but because truth has a way of echoing after you stop listening. Julian stepped down voluntarily. The article phrased it politely, avoiding scandal words. But people in agency circles talked. Complaints had surfaced, patterns documented, stories whispered at industry mixers with lowered voices and knowing looks. Claire was freelancing, not failing, just floating, project to project, never quite landing somewhere permanent, still talented, still admired for her work, but trust once cracked does not polish back to showroom shine. Sometimes Adam wondered if she hated him. Sometimes he wondered if she finally understood. He no longer felt either answer belonged to him. One Friday evening after work, Adam walked into a neighborhood bar with laptops and notebooks still in his backpack. The TV above the bar played an ad. Glossy visuals of an electric car campaign. He recognized the color palette, Claire's style in the typography, Julian's signature pacing in the cut. one of their last projects together. He watched it to the end, calm, detached, like looking at an old photo from a life he once lived but no longer claimed. No bitterness, no nostalgia, just a gentle acknowledgement of a chapter closed. He opened his laptop and checked user responses on his app. A message blinked. "This feature saved me during tax season, thank you." A simple line. More meaningful than polished awards in any office hallway. A coworker from his team slid onto the stool beside him, placing a beer down. "We are heading to a rooftop thing tonight," she said, smiling. "Music, drinks, bad dancing. Bring whoever you are seeing." Whoever he was seeing. He let the question rest in the space between them. He thought of late-night coding, of runs at sunrise, of silence that no longer hurt. He smiled, small, real. "I might come by," he said, then added, with a softness edged in steel, "but if she ever tells me not to come because someone does not like me near her—" He paused, meeting his coworker's eyes. "I am taking that as my cue to leave for good." She laughed, kind, not cruel, and raised her glass. "To better invitations." They clinked bottles gently. Later, Adam stepped outside. Night air cool against his skin. Streetlights cast a pale glow across the sidewalk, washing everything in a quiet silver calm. Cars passed in slow waves. The city did not feel like something he was excluded from anymore. It felt like something he belonged to. He walked with hands in pockets, easy, steady. Not a man replaced, not a man erased. A man who turned on the lights and walked out by choice. And this time, he chose the brightness waiting ahead. In the end, this story was never just about betrayal. It was about reclaiming dignity, choosing self-worth over being tolerated, and understanding that sometimes walking away is the loudest form of power. Adam did not destroy anyone's life. He simply turned on the lights and let truth speak for itself. Healing did not come through revenge, but through rebuilding, breathing, and remembering who he was without needing someone else's approval. May we all learn that leaving is not weakness. Sometimes it is survival. Growth often begins where comfort ends.